Hey, it's Jess. Welcome back. Today I'm here with another Way Back Wednesday where I will be talking about all the books that I read in November of 2022. Looking at my Goodreads, 6 of them were new, one of them was a reread. The first book I want to talk about is Any Way the Wind Blows by Rainbow Rowell. This is the third and final book in the Simon Snow trilogy, so it's hard to talk about because it's the last book in a series. Simon Snow is a magician. He went to a magic school. He got kicked out of the magic school. He went to America. Now he's back in London. Something's happening. I don't remember what it was. This is my least favorite out of the 3. I really only read it because I wanted to finish the series, and when a series is only 3 books, it's easier for me to finish because, as you know, if you've been here before, I have a very bad habit of starting series and never finishing them, and so I wanted to go ahead and finish this one, but I don't know. I didn't like it very much because I don't remember anything about it. And that's the first book I read. 2 books that I read this month were Take a Hint, Dani Brown, and Act Your Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert. These are the last 2 books in the Brown Sisters trilogy. I adore Talia Hibbert's writing. I gave both of these 5 stars. I gave the first one 5 stars. In Take a Hint, Dani Brown, you are following Dani, the sister. She is the middle sister in this family, and she works at a school. She's a professor, I think. And something happens, and it looks like a man, her coworker, saves her. I think he's a soccer player. It's been a while since I've read these, but I really liked them. He is a soccer player, and he saves her from something. And so there's a picture of them together, him carrying her out of a building, and everyone thinks that they are dating, and that's so scandalous, so that it's like fake dating, and then of course they fall in love. But you also have the other sisters, so Chloe is in this one, Eve is in this one. You learn more about their sisterhood and about their family, and it's got some spicy scenes, and this one I feel like is spicier. It's probably, I don't know if it's the spiciest, but it's definitely spicier than Get a Life, Chloe Brown. But I really enjoyed this one. I loved the characters. I loved the writing. I love Talia Hibbert. In Act Your Eve Brown, you are following our youngest sister, Eve. She goes to a B&B and like clashes with the owner or the manager or something like that, and ends up staying there and working for him. He is autistic, and Eve basically finds out, hey, I'm a little autistic too. And so she is just like a hot mess all the time. The owner, manager of the B&B is just like straight-laced. Everything is by the book 100% of the time. And so obviously there's, conflict between them because she's so la-di-da and carefree, and he's like, absolutely not. Oh, he gets hurt, and by her. Eve accidentally hurts him, and so she stays to work at the B&B hotel because she hurt him and he can't move his arm. I think he broke his arm. Anyway, cute book. Loved it. Loved Talia Hibbert's writing. Check all of these out. Last I checked, they're all on Kindle Unlimited. You don't have to read them in order. I did, and I liked it that way. I would suggest reading them in order. So anyway, if you're looking for spicy romance books that are also very cute and have, a series with characters that are connected, then check out the Brown Sisters trilogy by Talia Hibbert. The next book I read was The Last Olympian by Rick Riordan. This is the 5th book in the first in Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Yes, Percy Jackson and the Olympians, which are the first, like this first 5 books in Percy Jackson. There's like 15 plus in. Anyway, this book, also kind of hard to talk about, but I feel like a lot of people, if you're going to read Percy Jackson, you've already read Percy Jackson. This is the final battle against Kronos. They are battling in New York City and trying to win. And it's the fulfillment of the prophecy from the first book. You know me, I love Percy Jackson. Honestly, though, not my favorite. I would say this is probably like my fourth favorite. Third or fourth favorite. It's not my least favorite. That one's Sea of Monsters. Don't like that book. But it's not my favorite out of the first five. It is good and it has a good ending. I like the way that it wraps everything up. I just adore Percy Jackson. I adore all the characters. I love seeing all of his character growth from the first one to this one. And I finished this one because I was finishing my reread. And then I thought I was going to go on to the next series, and I never did. So maybe I'll do that soon. I want to pick up Heroes of Olympus again. I really like that series too. The next book I read was What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. It's very hard for me to say. This is a retelling of The Fall of the House of Usher by Edgar Allan Poe. You are following, I believe Alex is a soldier, and their friend writes to them and says, "Can you come visit me? She's very sick." And so Alex goes to the house and creepy things are happening. It's got a lot to do with fungi, mushrooms, as you can tell from the cover. And the wildlife is acting weird and there's mushrooms everywhere. And it's a retelling of The Fall of the House of Usher. Very gothic. This is not my favorite T. Kingfisher book. I do like it. It's just not my favorite. There is a sequel out now. I believe it's called What Feasts on the Dead. I haven't read that one yet. I haven't had a chance to pick it up. But if you like gothic fungus stories, then read this one. The next book I read was Such Sharp Teeth by Rachel Harrison. In this book, you are following a woman. I don't remember her name. She is coming back to her hometown because her sister is pregnant and her sister needs her there. So she's there. One night she is driving home and hits an animal and is bit by this animal and then thinks that she's turning into a werewolf. And while she's trying to deal with that, she's trying to deal with her sister and their relationship. This was the first Rachel Harrison book that I had read. I didn't hate it, didn't love it. It's very much about like family, drama, and healing and grief. She writes kind of like, they're not cozy horror, because there's obviously some horror parts in this that has to do with werewolves and I remember there's some kind of graphic-y, gross scenes, but I don't know. It was a werewolf book, and you don't read very many of those, so I do appreciate that. I just don't have much to say about this book because I didn't really care about it. The last book I read was Clown in a Cornfield by Adam Cesar. This is a young adult slasher book about a girl who has moved to this town, and this town used to be rich for some kind of farm production. And I can't remember, but like the mascot of the town is Friendo the Clown. And so she's new to school, she goes to this party, and all these teenagers start dying. It's a big slasher. Because there's clowns in the cornfield. There's a clown in the cornfield slashing these children. This one read pretty well. For being young adult, it was pretty gross. Like, there's definitely some parts I was like, wow, okay, we're going to go there in this young adult book. All right. There was one part at the end that I was like, oh, that kind of came out of left field. Don't really appreciate that. Don't really know why we had to do it that way. But overall, not a bad book. If you are looking to get into horror, if you're looking to get into slashers and you're not ready for like adult full scale stuff, maybe check this out. There are 2 sequels to this book. The second one is Friendo Lives, I think. And then the newest one, the third one, is the Cult of Friendo or the Church of Friendo. I don't really remember. I haven't read any of them yet, mostly because I haven't seen them at my library. These are not books that I'm going to buy, but if I saw them at the library, I'd pick them up. I just haven't seen them yet. So, again, if you are looking to get into slasher books or into horror books because you're afraid that you're going to be scared by adult horror books, check these books out. And those are the books that I read in November of 2022. A pretty good reading month considering this is the month that we ended up selling our house. So we were busy packing. We got kicked out several times because we had to have people come look at our house, everything that goes along with selling your house. And I still was able to read 7 books, and I'm proud about that. So now I want to know, have you read any of these books? What did you think? All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.